With just a few weeks left in season play, focus has somewhat shifted away from regular competition for NAIT athletes as they push back against projected budget cuts to the athletic program. Ooks goalie Brendan Jensen is leading the way for a collective voice as next year's budget discussions ramp up. This after a focus group in December raised concern among athletes about future funding. Jensen has created an online petition already exceeding 700 signatures in support of NAIT athletics, stating the current funding is not ideal, but at the very least needs to stay as is. Jensen urges that player safety is just one of the reasons proper funding is crucial.
A fifth-year player on the team who's been wearing the same helmet when instead those certifications expire only after 1 year. Like me, myself, I'm a goaltender and I get hit in the head a lot and my helmet's 4 years old.
A hard copy petition has already been signed by over 180 NAIT athletes. NAIT is yet to comment on the situation as budget discussions are ongoing for next year. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Isaac. A rental crisis is what some are calling it. And as rates rise month after month, some renters are being forced to consider making a move. Third-year business student and downtown resident Janessa Halls is hoping she doesn't fall victim to Edmonton's rising rental prices. After moving north to Edmonton from Calgary for school, she fears an increase in her already pricey rent may leave her packing boxes.
I'd have to drop everything, go back to Calgary. Although I love my home city, I'd miss my school, miss my work. I love my job, so I mean, it'd be really, really crappy to have to go home.
The average rental price in the Edmonton area jumped nearly 4% from October 2018 to January 2019. The cause for the spike? Supply and demand. More Edmontonians are entering the rental market than ever before, and Rentals.ca CEO Matt Dannison believes there are multiple reasons people are renting rather than buying.
It has become harder to qualify for a mortgage and at higher rates. So because of that, those, again, first-time home buyers are being forced to stay in the rental market. For the millennials, they are not as eager to jump in a home and have that kind of anchor.
Another option students have is to live on campus. At MacEwan University, they say rental rates don't fluctuate like the open market does.
So we don't market base our prices, we really operationally set our prices. So we have operation costs that we have to cover. We're not supported by the university, we're a self-funded unit.
As for Halls, she hopes her clean track record and good tenancy will prevent a bump in rent.
And you'd think that if you have good tenants, you'd want to make sure that they're happy with their living scenarios and not jack up their rent so that they can't afford to live there anymore.
At this point, it is projected that rent in Edmonton will likely continue to climb, and one reason for that, according to Rentals.ca, is the Government of Canada is expected to welcome 1 million new immigrants into the country over the next 3 years.
Josh, what's going to need to happen to stabilize the rental market prices in Edmonton?
Well, one thing that Matt Dannison from Realtors.ca mentioned to me in my conversation with him is the increase in affordable housing units in the city. Edmonton is hoping to develop 2,500 new affordable housing units over the next 4 years, resulting in the demand for rental properties to go down and likely a decrease in price as well.
Josh, how does the rent in Edmonton compare to other cities across the country?
Well, Isaac, with the rent hike we've experienced here in Edmonton, that now leaves us third in the province behind Calgary and Fort McMurray respectively. While on a national scale, Toronto, they're expecting an 11% increase in 2019 alone. Spring break is usually a time spent playing video games and sleeping in. But for 40 high school students from across the city, it was spent learning what it takes to be a police officer.
Let's go, finish strong! Let's go, guys!
Recruits were put to the test this week at Emile Lazure High School as part of the 5th annual Youth Recruit Academy. As part of the training, youth experience what it means to be a police officer, both physically and mentally.
They come in sometimes hesitant, sometimes scared, and sometimes they get a little bit afraid of PT. But then with us pushing them and encouraging to go past that wall, they really kind of start to see what they can do.
With the experiences I've had with the constables and my squad, it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. I've known people at my high school for 3 years, but with these people, I've known them for 4 days and I felt like I got closer to them than some of the kids at my high school.
The academy originated in 2016 with 30 recruits in a small trailer and has now expanded to having nearly 200 applicants each year. From catching to throwing and even touchdown celebrations, over 200 kids were invited to learn the basics of football with the CFL's very best. As a part of Grey Cup Week in Edmonton, children from all different backgrounds took to the gridiron on Friday for the Marks Jumpstart football program. The goal of the day was to not only teach the game, but also leadership and life skills. The kids were greeted by some of the biggest names in the CFL and even got to hang out with some pretty sweet hardware known as the Grey Cup. For Toronto Argonauts stud running back James Wilder Jr., the atmosphere the event creates is what truly makes it special for everyone.
I think CFL Marks Jumpstart does a great job with this, man, because they're out here, they're having fun. You hear the music, we're all dancing in between drills, but just seeing their smiles, that lights me up, and that's everything for me.
And hey, you never know. One of the kids at this year's event could be a future CFL MVP or Grey Cup champion. The owner of a bakery just off Whyte Avenue is growing tired of a pothole problem outside his business.
I'm a patient guy. I just want to see a plan and I just want to hear what it is.
This back alley leads to Jeff Noctegal's bakery. Since he opened up shop, Noctegal says the potholes have been a problem and aren't getting any better. After receiving a permit to build the rear-facing shop 2 years ago, Noctegal had confidence the city would repair the pothole-filled alley. But he says the efforts put forth by the city so far haven't solved the problem, as water continues to pool.
The biggest problem with that is preventing access for our customers with mobility issues. We have a few regular customers in motorized wheelchairs who can't get here when the alley is in terrible condition.
Noctegal says despite the ongoing obstruction, the bakery will continue to stay open.